Hello, Native American Indian Education Class 211. Is your classmate Jordan DeBoer here in Canton, South Dakota with my uncle Leon Eich. And today we will be conducting the documentary interview. So I think we will begin here. Leon, good to be with you.
Good to be here.
My first question is about where you were born and when were you born?
I was born June 8th, 1970 in Mitchell, South Dakota.
Okay. Where did you grow up?
Like I said, I was born in Mitchell. Until I was 5 years old, we lived in a small town called Epiphany, South Dakota. I actually started kindergarten in the Canova School District. And then in the spring of my kindergarten year, we moved to Canton, South Dakota in 1976, and I've lived in Canton the rest of my life.
Very good. Can you tell us where you attended high school and college?
I attended Canton High School, graduated in 1988, and then I attended SDSU in Brookings, graduated in 1992.
Can you tell us a little bit about your educational experiences in the two places?
As far as it relates to Native American cultural, Canton, South Dakota was a small town in southeast South Dakota. All my classmates were white. College. Back then, Brookings was not a Division I school, so even college was not very diversified. There were some Native American students there, and a lot of non-traditional students from other countries, I guess.
Would you have been open to taking classes that educated students on race and ethnicity?
Open to, yes. I guess I didn't take any because they weren't required as part of my curriculum for my major, but as an elective, I guess I would have considered them.
Yeah. Jumping to your career and your profession, can you explain your career and what you do?
I graduated with a commercial economics degree, which is basically business management at USD, if I'd gone there. And since graduating, my jobs have all been in a bank. So I'm a banker for the last 21 years. I presently am a branch manager for a small town bank here in Canton. Most of my dealings are with farmers and business owners, doing those type of loans. I also do some consumer car loans, residential mortgage loans also.
Very good. What inspired you to go into this profession?
I guess growing up in high school, I took some accounting classes. Always been good at math. My dad was a bookkeeper for a local business, and on weekends and holidays and during summer break, I spent a lot of time helping him keep books. So I guess I was either going to go into business or accounting based on the time I spent working with him.
Very good. Where did you meet your spouse?
My wife Shelley is also from Canton, so I met her in high school. We both worked at the same establishment going through high school. Although we didn't date then, we actually didn't start dating until we both moved back to Canton after college.
Very interesting. How's your family life?
Good. Shelley and I have 3 children, ages 12, 9, and 6. That's my family.
Okay. If you could describe your family in 3 words, what words would you choose?
Interesting.
No pressure.
Yeah, interesting question. I would say we're very busy but fun. We're very active in school and church and our community. but that keeps us busy, but we really enjoy being active in school, community, and church. So, like I said, probably busy but fun.
Busy but fun. Back to your profession. Do you feel that your profession encourages diversity in the workforce? And if so, how?
You know, because of where we're located, Canton, South Dakota is still not very diversified. Uh, you know, so I would say I don't discourage it, but I don't deal with a lot of diversification in my day-to-day job.
Makes sense, yep. Um, Back a little on your childhood, how do you think society has changed since you were a child?
Um, you know, like I said, I grew up in Canton, South Dakota, so 35 years ago, um, there wasn't much diversification in our community. There still isn't, but there is some. My children do experience it every day at school. But I see it more like when we visit Sioux Falls or Minneapolis. You know, first of all, when growing up, I didn't take many trips to Sioux Falls or Minneapolis, so I wasn't exposed to diversification very much. But in today's day and age, the children are exposed to it even in a smaller town like Canton because they are connected through internet, through social media, through computers, through technology. They are exposed to
All those things.
different cultures on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you would see an African American president during your lifetime?
Growing up, I guess, you know, in grade school, I guess I never thought of it, but in high school and college, as you know, I came to believe that anybody could do anything they wanted to. So I'm not surprised by it, and yes, I guess I did think I'd see it in my lifetime.
Does race and racism continue to play a role in American society? And what are your thoughts?
I think it does, but I think a lot of that is the older generation. I'd say 60 years old and older. Like I said, my kids are exposed to it, diversification that is, on a daily basis. And I think the younger generation of parents are more understanding and trying to teach their children to be accepting and to not accept racism as a attitude that the kids should have. But I do work with some older generation people, and I do still see they have that concern or scared or whatever you want to call it in their life. They're just not understanding of everybody's equal.
Change, yep. In your opinion, what ways has America moved forward since the civil rights movements, even though you were born after that?
Like I said, I'd go back to, you know, my children, if we watch a movie about the civil rights movement, they just can't fathom or believe that there was ever a place like that.
Time and place.
Where different races didn't get along or people were treated differently based on their race. I think that's a great thing that kids 20 and younger have no idea what racism ever stood for. I mean, it's not something that I think kids today are totally against racism, and anybody should be treated any differently based on race.
Very good. Have you ever had friends or known anyone from a different race?
No, I unfortunately I haven't been, like I said, exposed to, not on purpose. I just, where I've been and what I've done, haven't been faced with situations where I've had to come across too many different people, and I would hope that I wouldn't be afraid to have friends that were different races, but I've just not been put in that position.
That's all right. What do you know about American Indians, specifically maybe here in just South Dakota?
Um, you know, growing up, basically what I've read and seen in movies, I guess, read in books or seen in movies. Um, I do remember in grade school reading a lot of books about Native Americans, Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Red Cloud. Um, and I remember doing book reports on Native Americans. So, but other than that, again, I haven't been exposed or put in a situation where I've needed to know much about Native Americans.
Moving on. Did your parents or relatives ever talk or educate you about race and ethnicity?
I would say no. I think most of it all came through school. It wasn't things we needed to, or for whatever reason, we didn't talk about race at home or with family or relatives.
Understandable. Have you ever been to a racially diverse community? That probably goes back to the 2 questions ago about ever having friends from a different race. So I guess we can maybe.
I guess the closest I'd say I'd come was to college, where obviously there were different students with different backgrounds, but nothing that was ever filled with any tension or any. SDSU was pretty quiet and pretty calm. Not much happened as far as racial tension.
Okay. What are your thoughts on bringing more diverse educational systems into schools today? Do you think young students need classes specifically focused on more diverse cultures, such as Native American cultures?
I would say that is a good idea. Because I think kids are exposed, like I said earlier, through technology, through even just commuting to Sioux Falls more. Now my kids when we play basketball, we play in a Sioux Falls league, so yeah, there are people from different countries, people from different races and backgrounds. They see them, if not daily, at least weekly, and I'm thankful that my kids don't ever notice or saying anything, why is that person a different color? They just accept it as normal. I mean, people are different but equal, and I'm very appreciative we live in a community that different races are accepted.
Yeah.
I'll go a little further. A couple of my students each have classmates that have been adopted into this country from different countries, and again, they have nothing but good thoughts and comments about the students. They don't come home and say, "Oh, so and so is kind of weird because he's different." They like learning about that different culture, and I think that's great that young minds think that way.
Yeah, and expanding onto that with my last question here, how do you think you can educate your children and potentially other children about race and ethnicity? What steps are you or should you maybe be taking to educate them more?
Probably should talk about it more with my children, but I guess if we did talk about it, I would like to say that differences in people is normal. It's a good thing. Obviously, we don't want to live in a world where everybody is exactly the same, and that although different, everybody should be treated equally.
Yeah, I mean, after all, they are being introduced into a more racially and ethically concerned society at a very young age.
Right.
Well, that concludes our documentary today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And Leon, thanks for being here.
Thanks for asking me.
Peace out.